Growing up in Juneau, Alaska, I saw firsthand some of the public health concerns in our own community. After graduating from college, I began working at the Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. Through my work with ANDBSA, I became even more aware of some of the major health concerns in the state of Alaska. I believe one of the only ways we can create safer communities is through education. So I asked some of my mentors what makes an effective health teacher.
I think that health education is a unique field because of the topic areas. They're very personal, and they're definitely relatable to every person in the class. Like, everybody experiences health. Yeah, so I think to be an effective health teacher, you really need to be comfortable with the topic areas, because you're talking about things that are very personal, and oftentimes the subject area can be uncomfortable. And if you're uncomfortable, your students are uncomfortable.
When I think about what makes an effective health teacher, I think of my own experiences at Juneau Douglas High School with the wonderful teacher Nancy C.M.A.T. Nancy taught health at JDHS from 1991 to 2011.
I enjoyed it so much that Sunday when other people were dreading going back to work, I was super excited because I got to go back into the classroom. I knew kids really were desperate for two things, for sacred space and for a community. So health gave me that container. And that was the thing, I think, that fed my joy more than anything else. There were many other things, but I have to say that was the number one component. Well, health, again, and I think every curriculum could present a wonderful opportunity to look at issues that affect people dramatically, that are societal issues like racism, all the isms, sexism, etc. So the second unit was usually building a healthy community. And that had a lot of the health skills in it around, building healthy relationships and communication. But it was just look around the school and answer the question, is there equal power among the social groups? I think that was more of the question. And or is there a group with more privilege? And so the kids would do their own cultural analysis of the school, and that would bring forth all the discussions on race and equity, and then they would present, usually in groups, their analysis, what they saw, with charts, whatever. We weren't digital yet. And that created a classroom where issues of power and privilege and race and gender identity and sexuality were just part of the discourse. So it set the tone. This is a laboratory, I would say, where we are working to build a healthy community. And to build a healthy community, we need to understand basic things like power and privilege and culture and race. And so setting that tone was a phenomenal, I think it's my best unit actually. It was a phenomenal way to approach a health class, and it created that sense of reverence. First of all, the kids can do service work all over town in so many different content areas and bring that back into the classroom. And a lot of the kids said that was the best part of the class for them. We would find an agency that had a need, like AWARE, and they thought, yeah, it would be great to have AWARE peer educators. So then we'd have a training. So we had an agency partner, the agency did the training, I gathered up the kids and gave them credit for their time. And those were some of the most engaging things that happened, breaking out of the school and letting health be a community-wide issue. Really in the 2000s, when the results of the ACEs study, adverse childhood experiences, came out and showed that according to the questions they asked, 50% of the population experienced trauma. And looking at the brain research that was happening simultaneously, the effects of trauma on the brain, I felt very vindicated because my style of teaching was unusual at the time in the 1990s and kind of suspect. When those results came out, it really validated what I instinctually knew, which was easy to surmise after doing elementary counseling for 5 years and seeing the trauma the kids were going through.
So as far as the state regulations and state mandates, it's not. The graduation requirements are, I believe, a half of credit of health or PE. It's not and PE. So it's really district level specific. So there's the potential that students in Alaska could go their entire school career without taking one single health class. And then if you think about the implications that that has for them as adults, and engaging in higher risk behaviors, and not being able to have the skills to make healthy choices.
The data is there that that shows the desperate need for kids to be taught healthy sexuality, and those that aren't, the risk factors, including horrible things like suicide and accidental deaths.
Alaska has some of the highest rates of suicide, domestic violence, sexual assault, substance abuse, and child sexual abuse of anywhere else in the country. It is critical that teachers in Alaska build resilience, empower students, and help build healthier communities in the process. One way to do this is by becoming an effective health teacher.
Yeah, so the fourth R is a comprehensive health education curriculum that was originally developed in Canada. And it has 3 units of study for the 9th grade curriculum. It's like healthy relationships, healthy growth and sexuality, and then substance use and abuse. And it's 3 units, 21 lessons. And I think that while it's particularly important in Alaska is that we have very few trained health teachers in Alaska. So most teachers that are teaching are science teachers, social studies teachers. They get kind of tossed health as an add-on. It lays it out in ways that are really easy, and it's also very skills-based, so it teaches students delay skills, refusal skills, negotiation skills that they can take into real-life situations, and provides a safe space in the classroom for them to practice those. And the premise is that relationship skills can be taught like any other skill, and that we send our youth into the world where they're experiencing situations, and we expect them just to be able to know how to navigate those without the training and skills and opportunity to practice. So it's really good in terms of preparing them for those situations and hopefully reducing risky behaviors.
But today, I think the challenge in teaching health is doing it right. I think that's a challenge. I mean, because you can do it one way or you can do it the other way. And doing it right, following the research and putting it all together and keeping your passion, that's the challenge of health today.
Doing it right, everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and be doing it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling alright. Everybody will be dancing tonight, doing it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and be doing it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling alright. Everybody will be